Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's review. This time, we will be reviewing episode 34 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, the duel between Finger Chikaki and Sebastian the Massage Chair. You'll be hard-pressed to find two weirder characters ever dueling in Yu-Gi-Oh! Then again, maybe not. I mean, if you think hard, you probably can come up with that because, after all, this is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime that we are talking about. General thoughts. What did I think of the episode? I thought it was a good episode. I mean, I didn't think it was anything out of this world, although I did think that the ending scene had one of the most probably powerful in terms of emotionally sad scenes that Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's has had so far. A scene that hit me a lot harder than I would have imagined it would, because I never really felt that connected to Sebastian's character. But the more that I thought about it, the more I thought it was a pretty emotionally hitting scene. You know, the fact that Sebastian is willing to do anything for Neil, including dying. And we saw that even when he lost to Yugioh, you know, 20 or so episodes ago. When he lost to Yugioh, he was pretty much ready to be dismantled, and Neil said, "No, you're my chair. You know, you're my friend, basically. You're good enough for me." And Sebastian was brought to tears by Neil's actions, so we know there's a lot of caring thoughts between Neil and Sebastian. We know that they care about each other a lot, and Sebastian carries out his duties to the end. Obviously, he does lose this duel, which was, in my opinion, a pretty surprising result. He does lose to Finger Chikaki, who is an alien from the Subterranean, which is, of course, the below-ground clan of aliens, not related to Sorako. I mean, I'm happy that Kaizo and Sebastian pointed out to her that she looks exactly like Sorako, because she does. She talks exactly like Sorako, but I guess that's going to be kind of a meme where I'm starting to think that maybe these aliens are not going to be that important, and they're just going to have one kind of, I don't want to say throwaway duel, but one duel in every arc that you have like a different version of an alien. So you might have like an underwater alien that looks like Sorako, like a submarine ship alien or something like that. You might have an alien, you know, from like deep in the forest, or you know, a clan in there. I think that's probably the joke that they're going to go with. And each of these aliens, or maybe there is some sort of communication between the species, because clearly they do inhabit a very similar look, and I would say a very similar kind of aloof personality to each of the two that we've seen so far. So maybe they are communicating with each other, and they are going to plan on being a greater force than is currently hinted at. I don't know. I'm starting to think that's not the route they're going to go, but with this show, you just never know. And so Finger Chikaki beats Sebastian, and Sebastian's mission on this entire arc was to protect Yugioh and his friends. That is the mission that Neil gave him, and so in death, that is exactly what Sebastian does. And I'm starting at the end of this episode, because for me, that was definitely the highlight of the episode. I thought the duel was actually pretty good quality-wise. There was a lot of jokes that I don't really have much of a stake in. I think it was funny that they played the whole, you know, what is better at healing or making people feel better, massages versus acupuncture. I know they are both very similar, but not. I don't know a lot about acupuncture. Of course, I know a lot about massages, but I don't know much about acupuncture. So I think that was kind of funny, and I feel like maybe if you're a massage therapist, or you get massages often, or you have a preference between massages and acupuncture, then maybe this episode hits a little better for you. But I did think it was kind of hilarious that was kind of the aspect that they were trying to build a mini rivalry between these two characters of. And something else that I loved is the final communication between Sebastian and Kaizo. I thought that was brilliantly done. There was a quick shot, and at this point in the show, we know that everything in Sevens happens for a reason. There was a quick shot right before the duel began where Sebastian and Kaizo clearly communicated with each other, and it was never spoken of again until the end of this episode. We kind of knew that Sebastian probably told Kaizo to leave, especially when midway through the duel, you realize that Kaizo, who comments on everything, a character that literally cannot keep his mouth shut, is nowhere to be found. Kaizo is completely gone, not commenting. You knew there was that moment that they interacted before the duel started in the 0.05 seconds, so it was very easy to figure that that's what it was, that Sebastian had probably told Kaizo, go on ahead of me, get Neil. And when I kind of realized that was what was going on halfway through this duel, I knew that Sebastian was going to lose. I knew that his whole purpose was to just stall for time, which is what he even says at the end of this episode. Finger Chikaki's monsters were really cool, some cool pyro monsters. Sebastian had that amazing new boss monster to sit on his throne. And what I like about Sevens is when a character gets a new boss monster. We saw it with Roman earlier in this arc, and now we've seen it with Sebastian. It does not guarantee victory. So often in the previous Yu-Gi-Oh shows, when a protagonist or when a good character, quote-unquote good character, uses their new ace monster, they almost always win. Almost always. And that is not the case in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s for the second time this arc. So that is something that I really have been enjoying. That even if a character gets out a new ace monster, it does not guarantee victory. At this point, I don't even think it means anything, just that they have a new ace, which is how it should be. It keeps that unpredictability factor there. But his new monster, his new ace, Sebastian's new ace, was amazing. I don't remember the name of it. I just remember that it was a very long name, but it was a really, really sick monster. Obviously, I'll have it on screen right now. And Chikaki, who is doing this all on Chevelle's request, by the way, the bird guy from Goha 7th, or Goha 6th, excuse me, ends up beating Sebastian. I think another thing that I probably did not love about the episode was it felt like Finger Chikaki didn't really have that much of a purpose. And I guess her purpose was the fact that, you know, it was acupuncture versus massaging, which didn't really mean that much to me because I'm not too familiar with acupuncture, as I said earlier. But it felt like she was just kind of there. I didn't think that she really served that much of a purpose on her own individual merits. And so that was something that I didn't really love. Whereas Sirocco immediately was able to bond with Menzaburo, and even seeing what happened between Sirocco and Menzaburo, I thought was really, really well done and really kind of beautiful in a way. I remember really liking the end of that episode. And the end of this episode was really emotional, but not really because of Finger Chikaki. She didn't have anything to do with it, but mainly because of Sebastian perishing. Kaizo does end up making it to Neil. Another moment that was really, really, you know, pulled on the heartstrings was him saying, Sebastian cares about you so much, I'm sure he's going to be close behind. And then they show Sebastian slowly dying, which in the middle of the woods, which was, again, I don't think it's going to be a permanent death at all. I'm sure Neil will be able to repair Sebastian, but we'll see. Regardless, I thought it was a pretty emotional scene, especially in Sevens where you have not seen too many deaths. The only death that we've seen so far, which was definitely a permadeath, was the guy that Mr. Goha was controlling, and we don't know who that guy is, so there wasn't really much of a emotional stake at all in that death. Neil shows some genuine concern that Yuga is in trouble, which was interesting, because if Neil was made aware of the plan, and if Neil did have something to do with giving Asana maximums, I feel like he wouldn't have been that surprised. I feel like he would have made a wittier statement like, I had a feeling this was going to happen. You know what I mean? He seemed like, he said Yuga is, he seemed a little surprised. And so that makes me think that maybe Neil did not have anything to do with giving Asana maximums, like I've thought 100% or close to 100% up until this point. So that was a really interesting piece of dialogue from Neil, and obviously we will learn more about that as this episode, or as the show goes on, excuse me, as the episodes go on. Another joke that I have to point out is when that Goha 6th shovel worker sat on Sebastian and Sebastian had to give him the massage. Sebastian literally goes, I can't believe I let a background character sit on me, completely breaking the fourth wall, which I felt like Roman broke the fourth wall last episode. I love fourth wall breaks. Some of my favorite lines in like the Paper Mario games are those fourth wall breaks. So I am here for that. That was one of the funniest things I thought of this. That was actually probably the funniest part of the episode for me. Sebastian literally saying, I can't believe I had to let a background character sit on me. That was an incredible moment. A great ending to this episode, by the way, after the Sebastian stuff, where Asana is going into the room with Chevelle and all the, you know, jockeys of Goha 6th, and she goes, I'm dueling Yuga one last time. This is going to be it. I don't even care if we lose the Machine Cavalry Duel Club. I need to do this. This is going to be it. And then they notice that Yuga has escaped into the mines, and the music for that shot was great, and then they show Yuga and his crew in the mines. Yuga very confident Roman looks a little nervous. Rook looks kind of curious. Great end to the episode. I thought the last 3 to 4 minutes of this episode were really good. I thought the dueling action was really interesting. It's just, you know, Finger Chikaki, that was probably the only part of the episode that was a little forgettable for me. I just didn't think a lot of her humor really landed for me, but that's just how, you know, I feel about it. And if you disagree with me, please let me know. There might be someone who gets acupuncture done every you know, month or so, and they're going to say, no, acupuncture is definitely better than massaging. That was a great theme. And you know what? Fair enough. Everyone has their own opinions on it. But guys, let me know your thoughts on episode 34 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. I am so pumped, by the way, for episode 35 for the duel between, it's confirmed, Tiger and this Caterpillar dude. I am so excited to see Tiger hopefully kick some ass, but we'll have to wait next week for that. So let me know your thoughts down below. And a special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Panther J, Blue Maiden 28, Jarrett Buller, and Aura Dragon, and to my Diamond tier patrons, Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, and Anime Kaput, and to my Egyptian God tier patrons, XZ's Lover 104, Pegasus Seiya, and Stella Sky. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who's a YouTube channel member. You guys help me out tremendously. I stream on Twitch. I am now doing dueling streams over on Twitch. You can follow me down there. Link is in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. I will talk to you down below, and I hope you have an amazing day.